Today, America is strong, resilient, and fierce.
However, there was a time where our society was plagued with fear, terror, and chaos.
There was distrust amongst the American people, amongst the government.
As time progressed, America rose up from this period of disgrace and has become the great nation it is today. This is the story of America.
Democracy has proved that social justice can be achieved through peaceful change. Communism holds that the world is so widely divided into opposing classes that war is inevitable. Democracy holds that free nations can settle differences justly and maintain a lasting peace. These differences between communism and democracy do not concern the United States alone. People everywhere are coming to realize that what is involved is material well-being, human dignity, and the right to believe in a worship God. I state these differences not to draw issues of belief as such, but because the actions resulting from the communist philosophy are a threat to the efforts of free nations to bring about world recovery and lasting peace.
We won't work here till we're represented.
3 hours later.
Give us our rights! Give us our rights! Give us our rights!
Hello there, this is Walt Disney. Yes, I'm calling to report a strike that is occurring at this instant. This is an upheaval solely powered by communist interests. I believe it is of great interest for you to terminate such practices that pose a great threat and danger to the safety of society. These people have no religion. They are Russian sympathizers, such despicable people. You should also beware of David Hilberman. He is the brains behind the strike. I believe his is a communist. David Hilberman has been to the Moscow Art Theater many times before. Truly, he is a communist.
Don't worry, Walt Disney. We'll take care of it. Thank you for divulging such information to us. Your participation in protecting our society from such a grave threat is greatly appreciated. We look forward to talking to you in the future.
Greetings, fellow FBI agents. I hope you feel at home here at Disneyland.
Sounds like a plan, Mr. Disney. We can use this setting for our own advantage.
If you think you should have a slot in my Tomorrowland, and you can show the agency and promote it to children and have great influence over them, you would be able to show them the terrific tasks you perform.
We'll think about it. Thanks, Disney.
The second Red Scare occurred from 1947 to 1957. Within this Red Scare, blacklisting occurred throughout the country. This happened with Walt Disney, as he suspected his workers to be influenced by communist ideology after experiencing constant strikes. Many of his workers fell prey to being wrongly accused. This did not just happen within the realm of Disney World, however. Instead, this was a recurring trend throughout the United States. It was extremely prominent in Los Angeles. This effect was known as Hollywood blacklisting. Senator Joseph McCarthy was indeed a key player in the Red Scare, and he essentially brought about the paranoia that led to blacklisting. However, during court sessions where actors, filmmakers, producers, and directors were questioned, the House Un-American Committee took the lead. Also known as the HUAC, this committee was formed by Congress to specifically investigate citizens that had suspected communist ties. They eventually honed in on Hollywood and began investigation of alleged communist influence in the American motion picture business. One of the most famous group of people to be questioned about their supposed communist involvement was known as the Hollywood 10. This group of Hollywood directors and screenwriters publicly denounced the tactics used by the HUAC. The Hollywood 10 were restricted from their workplace, and so they could not work for any prominent studios. Some of them were arrested and imprisoned as well.
Oh dear! What has happened to our society? I heard just the other day our neighbor from Elma was charged with being communist as well. Oh dear, I feel a lump in my stomach. I won't be able to sleep tonight. What will we do?
We must do whatever we can to protect our children. Didn't you hear about the Hollywood directors being charged with this crime? What if the movies our children are watching are plagued with hidden communist ideas. We must not look anymore to protect anyone. Every man for himself. He said on the news the other day that he had a list of people who were communists. And guess what?
What?
Some of these people are in our government running our country.
Oh, I don't feel so well.
Have you ever been affiliated with a communist group?
I pledge the First Amendment.
Answer my question. Have you ever been affiliated with a communist group?
I should be able to protect my democratic rights.
Guard, arrest her.
I really think Karl Marx was a nice guy.
Yeah, I read his Communist Manifesto the other day. It's pretty good
Really?
stuff.
I need to get a copy of that.
Gentlemen.
Hello, how are you?
Hi.
Why are you wearing red?
No, it's my favorite.
I'm gonna need you guys to come down with me to headquarters, please.
Questioning will now commence. As a member of the Board of Directors, as president of the Screen Actors Guild, and as an active member, have you at any time observed or noted within the organization a clique of either communists or fascists who are attempting to exert influence or pressure on the Guild?
Well, sir, my testimony must be very similar to that of Mr. George Murphy and Mr. Robert Montgomery. There has been a small group within the Screen Actors Guild which has consistently opposed the policy of the Guild Board and officers of the Guild, as evidenced by the vote on various issues. That small clique referred to has been suspected of more or less following the tactics that we associate with the Communist Party.
Would you refer to them as a disruptive influence within the Guild?
I would say that at times they have attempted to be a disruptive influence.
You have no knowledge yourself as to whether or not any of them are members of the Communist Party?
No, sir. I have no investigative force or anything, and I do not know.
Fellow Americans, today we celebrate the days in which the Cold War is over. Once again, our enduring and magnificent nation has risen above, but there is a new war among us. Beware those you call your dear friends and co-workers, for many have betrayed the star-spangled banner and have joined the undemocratic ways of the communist people. Even our beloved government, which is supposed to stand for the people, has become infiltrated with the poisonous ideas of communists. Our entertainment industry has become a pawn in the hands of these communists. My dear Americans, our ancestors and forefathers fought long and hard to ensure we receive the freedom America possesses today. So be of good courage. Don't be afraid to speak up. If you see something, say something. Only as a nation unified will we be able to annihilate and crush this communist rise. In fact, these people are going to see their fall before they can rise any further.
The Hollywood blacklist grew in size immensely from the late 1940s through the late 1950s. By 1950, almost 151 entertainment industry professionals were on the list, lacking employment in the field. However, the end of blacklisting began during the late 1950s and the early 1960s, when people began to realize the dark reality of the effects of the Red Scare in the United States. The Army-McCarthy hearings in 1954 contributed to this new view, as people began to see Senator McCarthy and his harsh, cruel interrogations as an abuse of power. As the supporters of McCarthy and the anti-communist movement decreased in size, so did the prominence of the blacklist. It eventually came to an end in the 1960s.